pellets rolling round my feet. Look at the girl with the broken nose laughing out the window. I keep a tiny corner shop and pellets is my stock. If you want a pellet, come to me, my pellet's soft as chalk. Oh, pellets rolling round my feet. Look at the girl with the broken nose laughing out the window. Some people force them in the mouth, young children up their nose, but pretty girls prefer to put their pellets where it shows. Oh, pellets rolling round my feet. Look at the girl with the broken nose laughing out the window. When children ask for pellets, I say, red, blue or green. They reply, it makes no difference, for when they swallow them, they won't be seen. Oh, pellets rolling round my feet. Look at the girl with the broken nose laughing out the window. So come to me for pellets, to rub on or to eat. They'll make your fingers swell like mad and your thumbs as brown as peat. Oh, pellets rolling round my feet. Look at the girl with the broken nose laughing out the window. Give me the good things of life, such as what? An apple off a tree, a lady with a weary smile, a mouse that's wild and free, a muscly man with evil breath, a soup stain on my knee. I'll have to pause to think of more. Okay, I'll count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A beauty queen with great big hips, an errand boy with liver, a greedy girl with sticky hands, a liner in the river. I'll have to pause to think of more. Okay, I'll count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A baby falling out its pram, an eagle being sick, a sandwich made of mouldy jam, a burglar with a bridge. I'll have to pause to think of more. Okay, I'll count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I cannot think of any more. Okay, I'll count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me count your buttons, dear. 1, 2, 3. Let me count your buttons, dear. 4, 5, 6. Stay your hand, stay your hand. Do not count my buttons. Stay your hand, stay your hand. Keep your hand away. Let me count your fingers, dear. 1, 2, 3. Let me count your fingers, dear. 4, 5, 6. Let me count your fingers, dear. 1, 2, 3. Let me count your fingers, dear. 4, 5, 6. You've a finger extra, well, I'll be damned. Nobody asked you to count them, all you do is count. Yes, I am a mutant. 1, 2, 3. I developed a taste for nuclear waste. 4, 5, 6. Life in a Scotch Sitting Room, Volume 2, Episode 15. One day, my brother took offence. Jumping onto the kitchen bed, he opened the cupboard above, drew himself up, and shut the door. "Where's your brother?" asked my mother when she got back. "Up there," I pointed. "Why?" she repeated, making the tomato sauce fall over. I called him a hypocrite, I muttered, looking askant at the jobbox. Do you know what hypocrite means? Laughed Mother, in spite of herself. Blushing, I shook my head. She lifted the big brush and banged the cupboard. Come on out, you fool, your supper's getting cold. There was no response, so she shared it out. We all took some, but I had to hand mine back because of the look on my face. During the night, my brother had to come down to do the bathroom. He returned with a cooking apple and his marbles. The first week, we banged before every meal, but he paid no heed, so we stopped. His marbles could be heard at any hour bouncing off the hollow walls. Sleep was not always easy in the kitchen. At last, he stopped making a noise. About a year later, Father, worried for his son, went up the ladder with a candle. We waited with interest. A rich smell followed the opening of the door. Father's candle scoured the cupboard. Then, blowing it out and holding up an apple core, he turned. He's not there, he shouted in surprise. So that's where it got to, muttered Grandma, eyeing the core. Years after, I heard that he'd been seen in Gushet Falls, but it was a rumour. When the soldier arrived, I was ready, packed. He let me sniff his uniform. Thick, fresh cloth, mid-blue. We set off through the spring fields. Imagine, 2 men in a line moving through a land without trees, the only vertical objects. Clouds, fat sheep grazing, made another layer of country, and us too, moving pins. We should have swam or slithered to keep the landscape clear. We wandered on in circles. What was the hurry? The view stayed the same. I grew a thick beard and became a bush. He bedded me in, saw that I had everything, shook my hand and meandered away. So here I was, near the sound of a stream. The land was still. A green bird hopped on my raised elbow, made a wispy nest in the crook, then sat there, singing and laying eggs, and drinking the tears of happiness as they slid off my chin onto my neck. A land of penguin. In the spring, I left my winter quarters to travel south, and in no time was in a land of penguin with a smell of stale fish. They ignored me and sat there or bumped into one another like ninepins. The clouds were watery and thick to the touch. I sat on a newspaper in the snow by a dark shingle beach with a cold sandwich and a flask of tea. Later in the afternoon, I emptied my bladder against a low cliff. What a noise! Everyone in the Antarctic must have heard, and set off into the dark. Her darling. Even as a child, cloth was magic. Her mum, who massaged in the sauna shop, brought books of patterns home from the tailor next door. She lay on her stomach on the linoleum, soaking in texture with her good eye, while Mum boiled a soup cube, pulled a pure white roll open, and poured in sandwich spread for her darling. This is a song about men. It's for men, and it's by a man. Step it out lively, boys. See how we go. Step it out lively, boys. Put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward, boys, and the other foot as well. Don't forget the other foot, boys. The other foot, boys, as well. We want to get there, boys. It's 10:30. Our throats are sandy, boys. That's the worst of desert. Put your best foot forward, boys, and the other foot as well. Don't forget the other foot, boys. The other foot, boys, as well. Here's the mirage, boys. See how it glows. Stick your tongue right out, boys, and your throat wide open. Put your best foot forward, boys, and the other foot as well. Don't forget the other foot, boys. The other foot, boys. The other foot, boys. Don't forget the other foot, boys. The other foot, boys. The other foot, boys, as well. First, look at the man. He's sitting on the grass. Look at the man, he's sitting on the grass. He's eating a sandwich, it's cheese and tomato. The man is a sandwich, his body's the cheese, his brain's the tomato, his legs are the bread. See him stand up and fall down again, his legs made of bread, his brain a tomato. I said a tomato, his brain a tomato. The pips are his thoughts, the juice is like blood. Life in a Scotch Sitting Room, Volume 2, Episode 16. On impulse, Father took me to a lodge dinner for my birthday. I held his hand all the way and admired the street lamps. When we arrived, Father hung his coat and my cap on a metal hook, and we sat in the dining room. A famous man was there from over the sea. Brought up on simple food, he declined the offers of curry and, opening a well-used paper bag, took out a sandwich. Everyone stared. The banquet came to a standstill. We waited for our host to say something. He rose. "Hey you, put that sandwich away. This is a banquet." The honoured guest returned his half-eaten sandwich to its bag and prepared to leave, but our host anticipated his outraged feelings. "Would you mind sitting where you are till the end? There's perfectly good food on the table. You're creating an atmosphere." And resumed his thoughtful conversation with the women sitting on either side of him, looking soulfully down the fronts of their low-cut dresses and bending towards them as he spoke to sniff their perfume. A server, moved by feelings he hardly understood, ladled curry onto a plate, added a ladle of claret cup, mashed it vigorously with a fork, and placed it before the guest with a smile, touching his shoulder with a strong, friendly squeeze. The honoured guest took the fork and tried the mixture, discovering it, as the ingredients took effect, to be completely to his taste. He climbed up on the table and tiptoed along it, his back horizontal, joining in the sporadic bursts of singing that were beginning to break out. "Come on, son," said father, and we rose to go. My last glimpse was of him showing his combination